Imagine trying to send a simple email, right? But you have to hire a local translator, wait 3 days for it to be delivered, and pay a $50 fee just to hit send.
That sounds absolutely awful.
Right, and that is basically the reality of global business-to-business payments today. It is a complete mess. But we are looking at some fascinating research today from pvtIQ on a Singapore-based fintech called Tazapay. And they're completely rewiring the system.
Yeah, and doing it at a staggering scale, honestly. I mean, they're processing over $10 billion in annualized volume.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and growing at 300% year over year. Plus, crucially, they have already hit operational break-even.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand why they're growing so fast, we really have to look at the nightmare they're actually solving for you.
Yeah.
Global B2B payments right now are like a massive, expensive game of telephone. Your bank talks to a correspondent bank who then talks to another bank.
Taking a fee at every single step.
Exactly. Taking a fee, adding a delay. It's wild.
It really is. I mean, think about it. If you want to pay suppliers in, say, 50 different countries, you traditionally need to spend 6 to 12 months just setting up local corporate entities.
Just to handle the taxes and local compliance.
Right. The regional tax and compliance headaches are huge. But Tazapay bypasses all of that by acting as the merchant of record. They basically take on the legal and financial liability as your local proxy.
So you don't have to.
Exactly.
So instead of setting up 50 separate pipes to 50 different countries, they are giving businesses a universal adapter.
That's a great way to put it. You just plug their single API into your system once.
And it translates your payment into whatever local format is needed. So suddenly, you can accept payments from 173 countries.
Using over 80 local payment methods, too. You aren't forcing a supplier in Brazil or Singapore to use some expensive wire transfer. You use their preferred options like Pix or PayNow.
Right, so it's heavily localized. But here is where my brain kind of hits a roadblock. A local payment gateway is great for the supplier, sure, but that doesn't solve the back-end plumbing.
What do you mean?
Well, if you still have to wait days for legacy correspondent banks to actually settle the funds, the friction is still there. I know Tazapay uses digital assets to solve this, but whenever I hear crypto mixed with B2B trade, my brain just screams volatility.
Oh, sure.
Why would an enterprise risk millions on that?
Well, they absolutely wouldn't, which is why Tazapay doesn't use volatile cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. They use stablecoins.
Okay, so pegged to fiat.
Exactly. Through strategic partnerships with Circle and Ripple, they use USDC and EURC, which are strictly pegged to the US dollar and euro.
Okay, I get that stablecoins remove the volatility part, but
Yeah.
you are still relying on a blockchain network to move corporate funds. Isn't that a massive compliance hurdle for a legacy business?
It would be, yeah, if the businesses had to manage the blockchain themselves. But they don't. Tazapay uses stablecoins purely as an invisible fiat bridge.
Invisible how?
Mechanically, it works like this. A payment is made in local currency, instantly converted to a stablecoin, sent across the blockchain in literally seconds, and then converted right back into local fiat for the supplier.
So the businesses never actually touch or hold the crypto themselves.
Right. It's just the rails. And the real aha moment here is what this does to capital efficiency. Traditionally, to pay foreign suppliers instantly, a company had to park millions of dollars in pre-funded foreign bank accounts.
Just sitting there doing nothing.
Just sitting there, it is dead capital.
So by settling in near real time via the blockchain, these stablecoins basically turn that dead capital back into working capital.
Precisely. It frees up cash flow.
But, hypergrowth in fintech is easy if you are just burning venture capital.
Yeah.
The real question is whether this high-tech model is actually sustainable.
Right. The unit economics.
Yeah. And that's where the proprietary metrics from pvtIQ paint a really interesting picture.
They really do. They gave Tazapay a pvtIQ Smart Score of 4.0 out of 5. That is a massive rating.
It really is.
And it's driven exactly by what you just mentioned. They aren't just buying growth. They are achieving that 300% volume growth while already operating at break-even.
Which is rare. But if you are a business considering partnering with them, you should probably also look at their pvtIQ Alt Data Score, which tracks digital signals.
Right. They scored a 3.3 overall there.
Yeah, a 3.3. Now, they got a 4.0 subscore for having a highly engaged social presence, which is great, but they clearly have room to grow their digital domain authority.
For sure. It tells you they are still a young company actively building out their long-term digital footprint.
That's a great way to frame it. The infrastructure is incredibly solid, but broader brand maturity takes time.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you listening? If you are operating a business in the modern digital economy, infrastructure like this is a fundamental game changer.
It turns international expansion from a massive, complex cost center into an immediate revenue engine.
It democratizes global trade by literally removing the financial barriers to entry.
It really does.
Which leaves us with a final question to ponder. As programmable, instant stablecoin settlements bypass these legacy banking bottlenecks entirely, will the fundamental friction that currently separates domestic from international commerce simply cease to exist?